garden. Are you ready to learn more about flowering plants? I do hope so. What are you going to learn today? Well, today you will need to understand that plants need water and light to grow. And that you can carry out investigations to show that plants need water and light to grow. Well, are you ready? Let's go then. Before you do an investigation, it's important that first you make a plan. You can't do an investigation unless you know what you're doing. So that is an important first step. You have to make sure that your investigation is fair. Well, how do you know if the test that you are doing is a fair test? You're right, that is very difficult. Well, when you're doing an investigation, a fair test means that you only change one thing. You always have one thing that you don't change and one thing that you do. For example, if you are testing to see if a plant needs water to grow, you will need two plants. One plant you will give water to, and one plant you will not give water to. That way, you can see the change between the plant that has water and the plant that doesn't. But to make it a fair test, everything else about the plant must be the same. They must be the same kind of plant. They need to be planted in the same soil. They need to be about the same size. They need to be planted in the same sized pot. They need to get the same amount of light. And they need to be kept at the same temperature. Everything about the two plants must be exactly the same, except the one thing that you are testing. That's how you make it a fair test. Now, before you start your investigation, you must predict what you think is going to happen. A prediction is a guess, but not a silly guess, a thinking guess. You think very carefully about what you already know and then guess what you think is going to happen. So, if you're doing an investigation and you have two plants and you give one water and you don't give the other water, what do you think is going to happen? That is your prediction. While you're doing your investigation, you must observe your plants carefully. To observe something is to look at it. But it means to look at it carefully. In the case of your plants, you will see, has one plant grown more than the other? Is one plant a different colour than it was before? Is one plant straight and one plant starting to wilt? These are all things that you can observe about your plants while you're doing the investigation. Now, a very important part of investigating is recording what happens. How will you know how the plants have changed? You need to measure, you need information. The difference between doing proper science and just messing about is writing things down. You must always write down what is happening. For example, in your plants, you can measure if they've changed colour by drawing pictures of the plants at different stages in the investigation. You can create a table and measure how tall the plants are at different stages of the investigation to see if they have grown. That way, you will know which plant is doing better. And finally, at the end of an investigation, you must have results. You look at everything you have written down through the investigation, whether it's through drawings or through numbers or through words, and you will see which plant has changed. From that, you will be able to make sense of your results. Has the plant that did not get water reacted the way you predicted or not? This is the last step of the investigation, and it's very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, my darling children, you are ready to plan your investigations. I do hope you have fun.